How we doing, guys? Looking at the first part of financial maths here, and we're going to start off with this formula for final value, sometimes called future value, which is, well, I'll start with the example actually. If you were investing €100 at a 2% interest rate, how much would you have after T years? So at the end of year one, your €100 would have increased by 2%, so you multiply that by 1.02, giving you €102. At the end of year two, well, it would have increased by 1.02 again. So you multiply by 1.02 and again by 1.02, which is 1.02 squared. So that is 100 times 1.02 times 1.02. So we're getting ourselves €104 and 4 cent. At the end of year three, you'd multiply by 1.02 again, and you get yourself €106 and 12 cent. But the important thing here is that every time you're saying 100 multiplied by 1.02 to the power of, well, how many years has it been sitting in your bank account? So after year t, that'll be €100 times 1.02 to the power of t. Okay, €100 is the principal, the amount you invested originally. 2 is your interest rate, or 0.02 for 2%. And that gets you what's called your final value after 3 years, your final value after 2 years, your final value after t years. Now, if you go to page 144 and have a look at question 2, I'm actually not going to do this one. What I'd like you to do is pause the video. Given an equivalent annual rate of 2.5%, find the final value, correct to two places of decimals of €5,000 invested for 8 years. So that's really just use this formula correctly. Then it says what an interest will be paid on the investment. So you work that out by subtracting the €5,000 principal that you had already. Okay, so pause the video and give that a go. Okay, hopefully you got that out. You can check the answer at the back of the book there. We're going to look at question 4, just part 1. Now, part 2 and 3 are going to be part of your work that I'm assigning, but it's the same calculation every time. The question says, what monthly rate of interest corrected two places of decimals is equivalent to an annual rate of 6%? Now, what does that mean? Well, if you've got an annual rate of 6%, but what you prefer is actually I want to get paid rather than every year like we did here, I want to get paid at the end of every month. But ultimately, the end of 1 year, I should have still made 6% on my investment. Now, the advantage here is if you're depositing money every month, then you're actually going to make a little bit more than your 6%. So what's your annual interest rate is 6%? Well, you say, look, 1 plus my monthly interest rate, that's going to be paid out 12 times over the course of 12 months. And that needs to be the same as 1.06, my annual interest rate. So I need to solve this equation for R. Okay, so how do I get rid of that to the power of 12? Well, I take what's called the 12th root. Okay, now that's easier to use index notation of 1 over 12. You know the way the square root square root of 2 might be written as 2 to the power of a half. Well, that half is the square root. A 12th root is 1/12. Then my actual interest rate is going to be whatever that is, which I'm about to find in a calculator, minus 1. Okay, so for us here, 1.06 to the power of 1 over 12 gives us 1.00486, but of course minus 1 then gives us 0.004867. Now they asked for, corrected two places of decimals, 0049, which is 0.49%. That's what they mean by two places of decimals. I'd work to two significant figures. More regularly, you work to 3 or 4 significant figures, so you would hold it to that far. Question 7, similar type of question. Camille asks for interest to be added half yearly to his account. So rather than monthly, it's half yearly. So his annual equivalent rate is 4%. What's the equivalent half yearly rate? Well, that is his 1 plus the half yearly rate needs to be the same as 1 plus his interest rate of 4%. So that's 1.04. This is going to be, instead of compounding 12 times like we do here for per month, or once like we do here per year, we're going to compound it twice in the year. So we need the same interest rate for paying interest twice. It needs to be the same as getting 4% over the year. So that's 1 plus r is the square root of 1.04. And r is the square root of 1.04 minus 1. Okay. So that is the square root of 1.04 minus 1. You can do it all on the calculator there. Change it, you get 0.0198. Okay, so not quite 2%. That is 1.98% interest is the equivalent half yearly rate. Okay, I'll assign work separate to this video in an email. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Best of luck.